All right, folks, it's the guy with the bow tie checking in with you live for another edition of Business with Benefits. To my right, we have the wonderful Jacklyn Charles, which is a great person to have here considering today's last day of Women's History Month. So, Jackie, how's everything going with you with COVID-19 right now in your new normal?
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest. My new normal, this is not really new for me because I'm healthy, those are things that I do, and I'm always in the present. So for some, It's like, okay, so I'm eating healthier, I'm taking my supplements, and I'm going to be honest with you, but don't tell anyone what I'm saying. Other than the deaths that are occurring, which is sad, I love this. Again, we're not, this is serious. People are dying, but I just love the fact that now I can breathe. I can be more present. You know what I'm saying? Love on my family more, love on my friends more. And of course, social distancing, but I can actually pick up the phone and call and, like, what are you doing? And things like that. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think it's appropriate to have this conversation about health and everything because obviously everything's going on with COVID-19. We got to be aware of our health. And I want to give a quick shout out for Team Live or Team Replay. Whether you're Team Live, put hashtag Team Live. If you're Team Replay, put hashtag Team Replay. Let us know where you are. So with everything going on right now, I don't want to eclipse the total fact that we're talking about COVID-19, but you've been vegan for how long?
I was born that way. And I thought I was grown. So I said, you know what? I moved to the South and I said, let me try this chicken. Let me try this red velvet cake. And because of that, I started getting fibroids, started bleeding profusely, where they wanted to do a hysterectomy on me. And my body just was out of whack because of that. Okay. And I went to an acupuncturist and she told me that I would need to have like 55 needles in my tummy. And she told me about the chicken, and Black people typically will eat the wing and the leg, especially when it's fried. And that's what I decided. That's what I was eating. And she told me about the antibiotics. That's where they actually put the antibiotics in the chicken. So what I decided to do, it got so bad where I was close to needing blood transfusions. Every other week, the ambulance was picking me up, taking me to the hospital. They were pumping me with drugs. And I thank God I'm alive. But one day I heard the doctor tell my husband she's not going to make it. It was really, really bad. And when he said that, I told my husband, I'm going to sign out against medical advice because I used to train doctors and things like that. And my husband's like, okay. And the doctor's like, we're not going to be responsible for you. So I decided to sign out against medical advice. But I want to show your viewers and the people who support you what I'm talking about. People can say they're vegan and what they've gone through are plant-based. But here's a picture of what I looked like. Okay, my veins were so horrible they couldn't go through my arms, they had to go through my neck. Okay, so and then with them pumping me with the medications, I developed high blood pressure. So what I did was, Mr. Perry, I actually decided to sign out. We went to the fruit market, and when I said we got fruits and vegetables and herbs, because I'm a frequent flyer of Buford Highway. So I did that and I started juicing. My cholesterol was through the roof. It was horrible. 30 days, they told me to go back to my doctor since I'm going to be discharged, go to my doctor and talk to my doctor. 30 days for me withdrawing, leaving from the hospital, my cholesterol was normal. I then started getting back into my normal routine, and they gave me prednisone, and I'm getting rid of all of that extra puffiness now as we speak. But yeah, so that's what, so I can talk about my near-death experience.
Okay, and I think right now, I've been vegan for about 3 years now, and it wasn't really for health reasons for me, but it was kind of like longevity, just being around longer, just from all the different studies. Like, if it can help me get an extra 2 years, I'm good with that. Right. So with what you're doing with your show, tell the people about your radio show, guys. I love what you're doing for women, especially talking about Women's History Month, but kind of share the idea of your show.
Sure. I have a show that's called The Women Are Worthy Show. It's on Facebook, and it's on YouTube, and it's a streaming show. And basically, I started that show because I wasn't a girl's girl. I was a guy's girl. And what I mean by that, I wasn't negative towards women, but I was raised, my family and jobs, everything that I had was around men. So, I said, you know what, Jackie? You don't see a lot of women supporting each other and doing things with each other. So I had an epiphany. I woke up one night and it was God telling me, wait a minute, you're being cancer right now. You need to be the solution. You need to be the cure. So instead of being part of the problem, I want to be part of the solution. So I then, Women Are Worthy, I got some of the verbiage out of the Bible. And I said, I'm going to create a show about things that impacts our community. And it's not white or black, it's everyone. And I tell people, if you have a vagina, you're welcome. And now I'm getting men who want me to create Men Are Worthy, but men are welcomed as well. And we're allergic to negativity. We're all about positivity. And we're all in the same book, just in different chapters. It doesn't just have to do with health, finances, being fiscally savvy. It's an all-around show.
Okay. Have you seen in the last few weeks in quarantine kind of more viewership lately?
Yes, I'm getting more viewership, and it's driving up sales for my book as well, because right now everyone and their mother, let's face it, they're streaming, they're doing something. And you want to talk to people, because I get kind of a little frustrated when I hear people say that they're bored. And I'm like, you woke up this morning. What do you mean you're bored? There's so many things you could be doing. So, I'm being patient with that, because I have to practice patience. And just tell people, give them some things that they can do at home. You can play games like, on the internet with your friends. And I don't mean like card games, but getting to know each other, whether it's FaceTime, Facebook, or whatever the case may be. Get to know your neighbor, things like that.
I love it. So tell us, for you, what does Women's History Month mean for you? Because the last day of the month, and I didn't want to overshadow Women's History Month because of COVID-19. So for you, what does Women's History Month mean for you?
For me, well, I think for others, Women's History Month, it's great. But for me, I live women's history every day. For me, I'm a woman every day. So it's not anything new for me. But for others, and I can learn anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sponge. So for me, Women's History Month means that we have so many women out there that are constantly overlooked. This is our time to shine. Whether you're a CEO or you're CEO in your house because you're a stay-at-home mom, you're just as important as someone who's a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. So it's good to know about what women are doing, how they're eating, how did you start your business? So it's a community. That's what I find more fascinating about Women's History Month. It's a community that I'm so happy to be a part of. No disrespect, Daryl, but I love my women.
No, totally. I'm with you on that as well. I mean, that's where I'm kind of trying to hype it up the whole month, just because I didn't want it to get missed by this whole thing going on. But so a lot of things have changed with women, obviously. I feel like 2020 has brought a lot of change in a quick fashion just in this first quarter of the year. So change, I think, is a big thing for women, but it also comes to this lifestyle of being plant-based and eating healthy. So for you, have you seen that change be a hard, difficult thing for people that need to do that?
Yeah, because they're constantly telling me that, oh my God, it's expensive. I have a family of 4, it's not expensive. People don't realize it's not expensive, because I think they're going to the WF store, foods, when you can go to other places, like go to the Indian store, go to the Asian stores, because things are a lot cheaper there. And you can't afford not to be healthy. You check your car every 3,000 miles. You cannot afford not to go plant-based. And I'm not pushing anyone to actually just jump on in, but do a meatless Monday, do a turnaround Tuesday, try it. And people have the misconception of thinking that the food is bland. Now, when I was growing up, I was raised in New York, we had to go to Chinatown to get our soy milk. And it was a different tasting. We had to go to Chinatown for everything. Now you go to Walmart, you go to all these other big stores and small stores, Aldi's, which is a great store for plant-based, you know. So yeah, it's not as expensive as people think that it is, and the foods are it's scrumptious.
Yeah, I love it as well. My wife's been plant-based stuff for a long time, so it's definitely near and dear to me. I just noticed, like, when there's a saying I heard somewhere, you can pay the farmer or pay the doctor. That's kind of the mindset usually of people that are trying plant-based. So with this COVID-19 going on, obviously it's a health concern. Some people say it comes from bats and all that, and we don't want to be yes or no to that really at this point, but animal caused it. So when you talk to those folks that are kind of like, I can never put down steak, I can never put down my pork or whatever that is, what do you normally handle that as? I'm not an angry vegan. I'll just give some facts to people about stuff, but how do you normally handle that situation being one of the few plant-based people you know probably?
Right. And I want to let your audience know that there's plant-based and there's vegan. We pretty much eat the same thing. The only thing is I consider myself plant-based because I notice when I say the word vegan, people expect me to be angry. Why are you wearing leather? So to me, vegan is a lifestyle. Is a movement, you know, regarding animals and things like that. Plant-based is a lifestyle. So for me, there's two different things. And that's why I try to tell people that what I am is plant-based. So I think people need to understand that, you know, it's not only we talked about it's not being expensive, but the people, what I do is I'll make dishes. Like someone will tell me, well, oh my God, I can't do without steak. I'll do a scrumptious dish with mushrooms. And they're like, oh my God, because I know how to do roux and I do mushrooms and onion. And they're like, oh my God, this is good. So I like the portobello mushrooms. You know, there isn't anything that I can't do. We can have cake. You know, I make a great cake. I would say I'm 10% raw, okay? But I'm not gonna go 100%. I'm 10% raw. So it's all about seasoning and spices. And when I mean spices, I don't mean salt, y'all. I don't mean salt. So I want people to understand, and don't give me the Himalayan salt, because when you go to the store now, everything is Himalayan salt or sea salt. But there's lots of recipes, and for your faithful ones out there, on my website, thewomanareworthy.net, that's my website, thewomanareworthy.net. I have a cookbook, an eat cookbook that you can download. It's $10, and people have told me and they've sent me feedback like, oh my God, this dish is good. And if you follow me on the Women Are Worthy show on Facebook, or Jacklyn, Jacklyn Charles, I'm constantly posting dishes and recipes that people are telling me you have to put it in an ebook. So I'm constantly, I love my avocado toast. And in the morning, I'll have an avocado toast and I'll make a mixed green salad with a mean balsamic vinegar red. Yes.
There you go.
Like that.
And quick comment from I don't want to mess with your name, sir, but Mr. Poole, I don't want to mess with his first name. He said two things. He said people are scared about things that are different. And then he also said, can someone be plant-based and still eat meat on occasion?
Okay, I'm not here to judge anyone because it's a non-judgment, so no. So you can say you're plant-based, and you just like you can be a pescatarian and you want to say you're a vegetarian. I don't think you can't be plant-based if you're going to be eating meat. You're either one or the other, or you're saying, maybe I'm 10% meat eating and I'm, 90% plant-based. But typically plant-based people, we're not touching meat. Chicken, fish, we're not touching that. And I'll tell you a quick story. My husband was a pescatarian. He was starting to have issues with his fingers, and I identified right away it was like arthritis going on. Well, it turns out it's the mercury, because he would only eat salmon. It was the mercury in the salmon that was causing that. So I started giving him apple cider vinegar, which I love. Started giving him that, and turmeric. I make the turmeric golden milk for him, and we've seen a tremendous difference. And now he's 100% plant-based.
Okay, perfect. And Nkosi. Thank you, Nkosi, for telling me how to say your name. So yeah, Nkosi, I think I'm the same way. I think if you gradually do it, like for my journey, I haven't eaten beef and pork in probably 17 years, but I was chicken and fish up until 2017. So it was kind of tapering off things, then taper off the milk, taper off the cheese. So if it's difficult just to cut it off all the way, one, kind of look at your health and say, is this stuff making me any better? And two, just do it little by little. We don't expect anybody to be cold turkey. And the point of this conversation isn't saying just switch your life, but kind of understand that I'm one of the few insurance people I meet that's, I guess I'll say I'm vegan because I don't really have any animal products anywhere else in the house. So I'm one of the few vegan insurance people you'll probably meet. And that's something Jackie and I have in common. Most places we go, we're probably a handful of vegans we'll see at something. So have you seen that difference in women? Like women are more apt to do it than men are as far as going plant-based?
Well, to me, because I have a huge male following, I'm starting to see men. The older men are stuck in their ways, so they're not doing it. But one of the things that really get my goat, I can go to a networking event or go to an event, and they'll give me a salad and it'll have cheese in it, and I'm like, well, just pick the cheese out. No, I'm not picking the cheese out because cheese, and I have to educate them. It promotes mucus. Mucus is a large part of cancer. So I'm constantly educating people, but I also want to show you some supplements that I'm taking. It's not a marketing thing that I'm doing. It's stuff that you can go into your own store. I don't sell them, but I do believe it's working. And a lot of people have, tell me that they really like it. So it's not anything that I'm selling, that I'm pitching. It's just, I want to see good health. But I also want to say this, and it may cause some controversy. I can be in a room and talk about plant-based. The African Americans will go one side, and everyone else who's not African American will come over to me, and I want to change that because we have such a high rate of high blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, heart attacks. We have to start changing our thinking.
That's what made me do that. I had an uncle I lost to diabetes when I was 5, and then I've had family members have diabetes. My father's diabetic. Seeing that stuff happen, it kind of made me say, I don't want to do what you did. So we'll try something different.
And what I want to tell people, because now Dara, you and I have been doing this forever, but now they're talking about with the coronavirus. I'm not out here to promote that anything is a cure. I just know what works for me. And I want to tell people that this is, can you see vitamin C? Move my vitamin C, and it's best right now when you're taking vitamin C, it needs to be anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 units. That really helps your immune system. So now they're talking about it, and for me, I take black seed oil. These are the pills, but you also can take the oil. That's very good. Everything's with inflammation. I met a young lady. She sent me some of her products, and I've been using it. Her company is called My Elderberry Fairy, and this is elderberry she has that she makes herself. Oh, I got to do this. That she makes herself, and this obviously has turmeric in there. She has elderberry syrup. Can I tell you? A couple of days ago, I was coughing like crazy. So it's the elderberry fairy. It's phenomenal. We also have to take vitamin D. We can take vitamin D, zinc. We should be taking zinc. Turmeric and curcumin, we should be taking that as well. So that's pretty much, I take a lot, but again, I want to be healthy. I can't afford not to be. My deductible is not as high as everyone else, but if I take these, it's cheaper than my deductible. It's cheaper than my copay. So that's what I work on and what I do.
That's a great way to think about it. And I mean, in my world, talking about health insurance and benefits all the time, the deductible is always a part of the conversation. And I usually have to ask people, could you afford to pay your deductible and your mortgage at the same time? And most people are like, heck no, my deductible's $5,000. I can't even pay that by itself. So I think when you phrase it the way you said it about, it's cheaper to pay for these supplements and eat healthy versus having to pay a doctor because you had a heart attack or a surgery. And that's a lifetime thing. Once those things happen, you're doing that forever.
It is, but what people also need to realize right now with the coronavirus, they don't want you going to the hospital. They're telling you stay home, be isolated 14 days. So why don't we start working on being proactive instead of reactive? So if you take things along with exercising, because Lord knows everybody's gaining weight with this whole coronavirus because you're inside. You can't go to the gym. So, but let's be proactive and take care of our health. Let thy food be thy medicine. That is so true. Because I'm sure if you would go in your backyard, there's probably some cure for something in your backyard. We just don't know what it is. The Indians know it. So we just have to, I'm certified herbologist, plant-based cooking and things. So I was cooking for people, but that's not my passion. So I'm going to be working on a cooking show because I don't mind cooking. We're eating and we're talking, but to just cook and send for people, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm sorry.
So push your way to deliver the message. Hold on. We had Nkosi said, how would you advise people on how to get started? So
okay.
Supplements and plant-based.
Sure. I think if you're the first thing you need to do is go in your house and get rid of anything you can't spell. Let's go and because I think we need to declutter. So if you can't spell it and if you can't say it, get rid of it. I think first, instead of bringing things in, let's take things out. I would advise you to please stop drinking milk, cow's milk, cheese, dairy, eggs. I would advise you, and eggs is not considered dairy, but I would advise you to get rid of that because a lot of people who have sinus issues, they don't realize because they're drinking milk, baby nose will be running. So if you're going to drink, you can have almond milk. Almond milk is easy to make. So get some almond milk, some oat milk or rice milk, get some fresh fruits and vegetables. There's a myth out there that if you eat a lot of fruits, you'll get diabetes. That is so not true. The sugars are totally different. I went on a grape diet, for 30 days. I ate so much grapes. And I also checked my A1C. I don't have diabetes, but I wanted to check the levels, my sugar, and I didn't have any issues. So I would say avocados, I would say vegetables, I would say you could saute things. If you're going to saute, do not use regular oil, use grapeseed oil. Not olive oil. Grapeseed oil is for the high heat content. If you have any other questions, you can hit me up at womenarworthy@gmail.com or 770-480-2269. Or you can go on my website. I have a book out there on my womenarworthy.net. You can go out there, but people asking me for consultation and I'll talk to them. And I promise you, it's not hard. I promise you. I had a positive results where I was at the farmer's market. The lady who normally sells me the fruits and vegetables, she introduced me to this guy. He was so heavy. He would walk from side to side. So I told him what he needed to do. I'm a big drinker when it comes to celery juice, love celery juice. Before the medical medium, I was drinking celery juice. Celery juice, coconut water, and parsley and things like that, juices. I put him on that. And when you can't tell this man anything anymore, okay? His ankles are swollen. He's not walking side to side. His rosacea, cleared up. So again, it's the food. So I'm Jamaican and Cuban. So I'm all about my seasoning, y'all. Okay? Que pasa? I'm all about my seasoning. Mamacita's all about that. So.
Well, I think that's good to help people get started. I think people think when they go plant-based, it's like this massive, you learn everything off the rip. I want to give a million props to my wife for everything she's making because we kind of we started with almond milk, and we went to rice milk, and we went to oat milk. So you kind of graduate, I think, in the plant-based lifestyle. You kind of elevate yourself little by little based on what you read, results you're having for yourself. So that's, to me, just start somewhere. I think you're right, Jackie, to kind of get rid of things. So we've been training our kids to kind of read the label on things like, what's that? What is that? I don't know. Well, we probably don't need it. So we're trying to get as few ingredients as possible. And when you mentioned something about the sugar and diabetes, that was something I think we got beat into us as kids. Those are millennials, Gen Xers, we used to hear sugar is bad for you, get to diabetes all the time. So we didn't differentiate processed sugar and regular sugar that's in fruit, because that's the thing. I think for me, I'm scared of candy most of the time because my uncle died of diabetes. So I was one that kind of thought that for a while. Like, if you just eat fruit, you're going to get diabetes. But after you do the research, it's the best sugar you can get to help your body. So what are some big misconceptions besides that people have about the plant-based lifestyle that you deal with on a constant basis?
That it's expensive, as I mentioned before, that it tastes nasty. I mean, I'll have something like, ew, because I have interns from 12 to 23, and I'm constantly bringing in food for them, and they're like, Miss Jackie, oh my God, this is good. Oh my, and sometimes I don't tell them what it is. I love making cauliflower. I'm getting into the deep fryer now. And I think people need to start planting. If you don't have a house and a backyard, you can get those plotters things and start planting in your house. Mint, basil. I cook everything with basil. My staple is basil, garlic, onions. That's my staple. So,
in my kitchen.
I'm telling you, and I think, and here's another question. Well, Jackie, what do I do if I want to go plant-based and my husband doesn't, or vice versa, or my kid doesn't?
That's
See,
a big
you
one.
got to show for a reason now. And the thing is, what you do is you gradually. Now, what you can do if you're going to make them hamburger, start with the Beyond Meat burgers or one of those burgers out there. It doesn't have to be them. I don't think they're necessarily healthy, but it's healthier than what you're eating now. And then start making your lentil burgers. I'm telling you, there's so many things and so many ways you can do it. Or, okay, I'll even give you this. Let's say if you want to eat meat, I'm not going to judge you. You eat beef burgers. Switch to a turkey burger. Start making your turkey burgers, and then we can gradually bring you on to other things that you can do. I make a great beet burger. My burger is so good when you bite into it, you think it's raw because I have the beet blood coming out of it. So those are the things that I think the misconceptions. And I think you can always ask people. And shopping, don't shop on the outside. Don't shop on the inside. Shop on the outside, because you'll see the fruits and vegetables. Now, Kroger, plant-based lifestyle. Look, this ain't no joke. Coca-Cola now makes coconut water. That has to say something. We're over $1 billion industry. Kroger has plant-based. Aldi has a plant-based. I'm seeing Publix has something to do with plant-based. Restaurants are doing the same thing as well. So, like when I go in, I'm complicated. When I go out with my girlfriends, maybe like 3 years ago, they're like, let Jackie order because she's so complicated. And I would tell them, hey, can you make this a certain way? And because I want to make sure that it's not being cooked on the same thing as meat. So I would have to do my salads a certain way, remove takeout. Restaurants are willing to, if you tell them how you want things done, they're willing to work with you. So don't be afraid to be that one in the restaurant saying, nope, I don't want this. And, number three into a number two, they're willing to do that because they want that money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something I had to learn. Like, they still want to get paid because you wasn't patronizing them before. I mean, me, for example, like going to Del Taco. We stopped going to Del Taco for a long time. Then they had Beyond Meat. So, I can get a burrito now if I'm on the go and need something to eat. So, more industries are getting used to that. And Enjoy asked, he asked, what about soy? Now, soy is a big debate, I think, in the plant-based world. I want to hear what you think. My comment.
Soy is a big debate because of the GMOs. Now, let's think about this. Let's go back. Chinese people have been eating soy forever. Yep. In Okinawa, it's one of the largest place where Asians are living. Now, mind you, they're not plant-based, but they're still eating soy. It's how the soy is grown with the GMO. My vegan people they don't like when I talk about soy. I eat soy. I don't drink soy milk, but I eat soy. Now, mind you, I don't eat soy every day or ingest it every day. It's once in a while. Like, I'll do bean sprouts and things like that. But I wanted to bring something up when we're talking about juicing. If you're going to be juicing, you should not juice, for example, spinach. If you're going to make a spinach juice or kale or whatever, you can't have certain green products every single day for like 2 weeks because it messes up your alkaline. So if you're going to do spinach or whatever, switch the following week to kale and things like that, because you want to make sure your pH and your alkaline levels are normal and things like that, because that damages it and people don't understand. You don't have to. Protein shakes are phenomenal. I don't do whey. I do plant-based protein shakes, or I make my own, so those are the things that you can have to ingest. And I believe in drinking a lot of water. So I said, I drink 1.5 gallons of water. So one of my followers sent me this. Okay? Like, it says 8 o'clock, ready, set, drink. 10 o'clock, you've got it. 12 o'clock, keep drinking. 2 p.m., halfway there. 4 p.m., no excuses. 6 p.m., a little bit more. And 8 p.m., you've made it. And I thought that was cool.
So how much water is that?
This is actually, I think it's half a gallon. 1 gallon. 1 gallon. And see, and I get water delivered to my house, so I drink a lot. I drink lots of water. And here's another thing. Someone asked me, they're like, did you get your teeth whitened? Because one thing I do know, I have extremely white teeth and I have no cavities. And someone went on social media and said, who's your doctor? Who whitens your teeth? And I said, I don't whiten my teeth. They didn't believe me. When I said my friends who I grew up with since when I was 9 years old, went on social media and said, we could show you pictures of Jackie that she never whitened her teeth. Because there's certain things I do. I do oil pulling and things like that. And I told my dentist, do not tell people that you whiten my teeth so you can get more customers. So I went to my social media page and saying, no, I've not whitened her teeth. I just clean her teeth. And I was on a show and they asked me to open up my mouth, Daryl, to see if I didn't have any cavities. And I'm on this show and I'm like, look up. And they're like, oh my God, you don't have any cavities. I'm like, no, I don't. I've never had any cavities.
Well, that's probably from the sugars and meats. I mean, people don't realize there's sugars in the meat we eat, so that on top of candy and everything else will add to it. And I guess I'll throw my 2 cents about soy still. Most of the animals you eat are fed soy. So if people worry about soy, don't eat animals because they're fed soy all the time. Cynthia Logan has a comment here. She said, all those myths were false, talking about the myths about it being expensive. It's so inexpensive to maintain a plant-based diet because you eat a lot less and stay full a lot longer. I agree with that.
Thank you. I agree. And so you can have and see, the one thing about plant-based diet, you can eat as much as you want. Okay, you don't have to do portion control, because if you're doing a big salad and if you're not frying a lot of stuff, you can eat as much as you want. But you do get full because your stomach gets smaller, and that's not including if you exercise and things like that. Have a banana, but don't forget your berries. So when you're gonna have your fruit, your fruit smoothies, you can't have strawberry, banana, apples, and all those sweet juices. What you need to do is make sure you have your blueberries, your blackberries, even it out. Because what happens is you become hungrier. Like when you're eating pasta and you don't have a protein or whatever with pasta, you're hungry right away. So that's what you need to do. There's a product I want to tell you guys about. Not a product. I go into the Asian store. I love pasta. Jackie loves her pasta. But the pasta that I eat are made with potatoes, sweet potatoes. So I'll have a sweet potato pasta or I'll have a beet pasta. So the starch, and you don't have to worry about the sugar where you're hungry right away. It's a slow digestion and it makes you full. So I love I just went to the Asian store and that's what I picked up, my sweet potato pasta.
Yeah, I go there for a lot of stuff too. Like certain things are either cheaper there or just only there. So
yeah.
And actually, in studies, Asians live a lot longer than most other races. So to me, that was like, I'm gonna listen to what y'all are doing because you're around a lot longer. So let's pay attention there. And Cynthia said, yes, I switched up my green smoothie on an alternate schedule. So good idea for that. And I think too, for the people that aren't quite, there's always the people that say, I don't have time to cook everything. I don't have time to prepare it, because certain things in a plant-based lifestyle, like cheese, making your own cheese takes some time, or making a roux, like you mentioned, some of those things take time. So what are some practical things you think for the people that say, hey, I'm not a chef, I don't think I have time for all that? What are some practical ways you can get started in the lifestyle?
Well, here we go. When you bring meat, don't you have to prep your meat when you go home? So my thing is, and I used to tell people if they were eating chicken and they would ask me, what I do is my prepping is on Sundays. So when I get my vegetables, I chop them up, freeze them. So when I'm ready, I can pop it out, things like that. You have to prep. I don't care what you're doing. You have to prep, and you can't afford not to prep. So when you get your for example, something easy, get a wok. Get a skillet, an electric skillet, and throw some vegetables in there. What I prefer, I don't do soy sauce. Look, I'm a big lover of Bragg. Bragg has, I don't use Bragg's amino acid sauce that they use. And I want to step back. A lot of you get your vitamin B. You can get your vitamin B from nutritional flakes, your nutritional yeast, because that has a lot of vitamin B in there. But going back to Bragg Bragg has amino acids, which I love. Not the soy sauce one that they have. It's like teriyaki. It has less sodium. But Bragg's amino acids that they have, it has less sodium than regular soy sauce. So for those who are still eating sushi, and I do sushi a lot. And when I mean sushi, I don't use the fish that goes in it. I use my brown rice. I use my cucumber, California roll. Let's say California roll. So and I dip it in there. So we have the same things that you're eating, but we have a different version of it. And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, it tastes better and it's doggone healthy for you. So you can cut up your vegetables, your fruits. Like I'll make my husband last night, what did I make? I made pizza. And I made a spring mix salad with it, and he loved it. The Greeks have this thing called spanakka pie, and it's a spinach pie. I know how to make that. You don't have to put eggs in there. I made him once a month. I make him chocolate chip pancakes, and he loves that. And I'll make them some tater tots with that. And I'll, so we can throw down. We can chow down. You can go. There's certain restaurants you can go, and you can have kale bone. And there's ways that I can make things. And you think you're eating ribs because I'll put the celery stick in it, and when you chew on it, you think it's the gristle of that.
Yep.
So I can get down when I need to get down, and so many of us can. There's always places to look for cookbooks and things. Like I said, that's what I'm definitely gonna tell you guys, because breakfast is the important meal of the day. But like I said, I have all that stuff in my cookbook. I now have to do a new one because people are like, Jackie, you're posting these things on your page. Can you create another cookbook? So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be doing a cooking show where I'm interviewing people, and we're going to be eating only plant-based stuff, and we're going to tell you how we're doing it. We're going to be preparing it, and then we're going to sit down and eat it.
That's great to do, because I think people just need to see it more, because you do see some chefs that were hardcore meat eaters now kind of turning their mindset, having vegan restaurants or having vegan. So if the chefs are doing it, and it's not all of them, but a handful are doing it. If you even pay attention in Kroger and Walmart, they have a bigger plant-based section. I mean, Kroger is where I get most of the stuff we get for plant-based. They have their own brand of plant-based food at Kroger.
Yes.
So pay attention.
And I'm going to say, I don't have the okay to say this yet, but I'll give you part of it. There's a grocery store that's going to have, especially in Cobb County, they're going to have a plant-based. They have a brand, a grocery store brand, their chain brand. They're going to turn that into a grocery store. And when I'm able to talk about it, I'll talk about it. But so can you imagine, you're just going in the store, you don't have to go to a certain section. The entire store is plant-based. So I'm telling you, so when you start seeing big corporations coming into this, that's something that's key. We have a cardiologist. He's I think he's the ex-president of the American Cardiology, and he actually talks about plant-based. We never had doctors who really wanted to talk about plant-based. They thought it was like quacky. Now doctors are coming out and talking about, hey, we think you need to go plant-based, or can you try plant-based or something like that.
Well, the information's key, so I appreciate you sharing this info. That's what, for me, it helps a lot. I watch all the documentaries, I read the articles and all that good stuff. So I think people just do some research. If you're curious about it and you're just here to do it, just read something a little bit. Jackie's a resource for that. There's tons of great websites with cookbooks out there and videos to watch. So just research just to kind of know why, because everybody doing it's not angry. Every vegan's not an angry person. I'm not an angry vegan. It's just for helping the earth and helping me live longer. Pretty much why I do it. I had no health issues before becoming vegan. It was literally just to live longer and to help the earth so my kids have something to come back to when they get older. So whatever your reason is, research it, but Jack, can be respectful of your time. So what are some parting words you want to leave with the people for Women's History Month, for your show, for plant-based? What's some parting words you want to leave for them?
Sure. I want people to understand we're all in the same book. We're just in different chapters, okay? And we can't be judgmental of other people, and to practice patience, especially in a time like this. And you can check out my plant-based book, as I mentioned, on the womenareworthy.net. Go to the store section. That's where you can purchase your book. I really want people to understand, and we shouldn't wait for this to come down, but go health check. Find out what's going on with your neighbor. Pick up the phone, find out, because my pastor said this one day. He said, this is the only country in the world that we have a house for our car. And when he said that, I'm like, that is so true. We have a garage and this car is in this, it's another house. So, pick up the phone and let's start saying hello. Let's start seeing what's going on. Let's see how we can help each other and the environment, because at the end of the day, we're all we got. We're all we got. And I don't want to wait till when some kind of chemical fallout and we're all out there marching in the streets or walking in the streets. So let's support each other. And as women, I love my women. If you're all about positivity, I'm all about supporting you, helping you through your journey, you helping me. I just love women. And I think we need to start supporting each other. And I want to give a shout out for my husband, because as of last October, we were married. We're married 30 years. I don't know how he did it married to me, because I'm Lucy. Okay, I'm Lucy and he Ricky. Okay, I don't know how we do it, because I think myself every day, how could you be married to me? But look, I'm not beating down myself, because look, I would want to be my best friend. Okay, but for the simple fact that I look around and I look at him and I'm like, dang, we look good. We've been married for 30 years. We look good. And we can't forget, as women, we can't forget our significant other. They always talk about behind every great man, there's a great woman. Also behind every great woman, there's a great man, So I just want to put that out there that, that we have great men out there. Don't lose hope. Don't just work. We have to create a family. It takes a village. So those are the things I want to talk about. And self-care as women, that should have been something I talked about earlier. We don't practice self-care. And I don't mean self-care, you're getting your nails done. I'm talking about meditation. I'm talking about taking walks, getting to know yourself, getting to love yourself, because I love the skin that I'm in. And being raised by a man, I didn't have a woman raising me. When I say I love the hell out of myself, I love the hell out of myself, because that's what I was taught. But I'm also humbled enough to know that I'm a servant and I'm here to, assist any which way that I can. And Daryl, I want to thank you for what you're doing, because you're putting positivity out into the universe. You've decided to take the step to go plant-based. When the husband or the man in the household goes plant-based, everyone will go plant-based, because the man is the head of the household, and that's how it works. And I'm just so appreciative and thankful for what you're doing, because I'm loving what you're doing, my brother. I'm loving it.
Thank you. I'm trying. It's the only way I know how to be positive. So
You're doing it.
Well, thank you. And real quick before we get out of here, we had a couple comments. Cynthia talking about your love. She said, "Me too. I use Bragg apple cider vinegar and make my homemade salad dressing. It's so delicious."
Yes.
So Cynthia might be a fan of yours now, and her and Enjoy say congrats on your 30 years of marriage. So congrats from me as well.
If you can use, and if you want to switch it up, you can use the Bragg and put a little bit of the balsamic syrup, and you can mix that together. And and always make sure you always use turmeric in anything that you're doing. Please, turmeric should be a lifestyle, because that's great for arthritis, and it helps the blood flow into your body, and because if there's stagnation of blood, there's an issue. So I'm loving you, Miss Cynthia. I'm loving everyone. I'm just like, woo!
Well, folks, thank you again for joining us for the Business of Benefits. We will catch you the next time, and please, please, please wash your hands. Be safe while you're out there. And this period will pass, so you might as well learn something while you're at home, or still work while you're at home.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.